Well, I'm gonna land this plane and ask, what are your, just to be like, I'm a glass half full guy, and I believe when there's an era of change, it's an opportunity. So people can be gloom and doom about what's happening in Hollywood, and truly, it's really the cost of living in California and all the different correct ways you have to go about doing things that make things too expensive. But I think it's an opportunity for indies. And Jim, you're an indie. You make, I mean, on a scale of Hollywood, they would be considered low budget movies.
Yeah, yeah.
But
5
what are
million.
your predictions and what's your advice? And then we'll go get final questions for you at the end.
I mean, I think there's a great opportunity. I think the big problem that's coming up is there's going to be a lot of content, because AI is going to create, I think, some content too. So how do you cut through the noise? That's the thing.
Right.
If you have indie film, how do you get it, to the front of the line for people talking about it? That's one big thing. And the other is just, I think it's a great opportunity for people to make their first, second movie, because you just have to make them more inexpensive, but you have those tools. If you can make a movie for 50 grand that looks like it's 500 grand, that's great. It's that you're probably going to do well, and you have to just kind of like use these tools that are available. It's like AI can help, editing programs. It's so much easier to make a film now than it was in the 90s. So just go do it. That thing that all these guys say, just go make a movie and see what happens. But I think people are always going to they're always going to be into movies. It's just, we've kind of fallen. It's like when you're in a long-term relationship, you kind of fall out of love for a little bit. And you need to get back in love. That's never happened to me. But I'm saying, you just need to get back in love with what's going on.
Yeah. Well, it's also I mean, I just think now is the time to pursue during the quote pandemic. It's like, all right, you've got time now. Write that book, make that comic, do that creative project. The industry downtime should be an opportunity to the indie movie, the story you really care about, make that and make it for whatever you can. So I think,
you got to, even I'm trying to do really small, $15,000-$20,000 film that's really great to make up for the few movies that I've made the last few years that aren't, they're financially viable and they're on Netflix, but they're not art.
Right. So I don't know. I think it's a golden age. I think it's going to be an age of innovation, but I think the studios have to do that as well, because when there is a big tentpole studio movie that brings a ton of people to the theater, they look at what else is playing. They'll see a trailer to some other movie like Alan and I saw the movie Friendship, which I think is an amazing indie movie with Paul Rudd. We'll talk about it Friday. This movie is so creative. You would have never thought that it's not something that you're not going to fast track it for 90 mil or anything. It's a small film and it's fantastic. But it's the time now to do the movie you want to make rather than the movie you have to make, and I think that indies, I really believe that AI is the X factor. We haven't even discussed that. I think AI could end up producing another potential young George Lucas or a young where those studio level effects are within reach and they have a vision they can tie to a story, and that fulfills all the special effects. That is going to change the game. I don't know if you've seen this trailer for a movie. It's on social media called Karen Unleashed. We have the guy who made it coming on in a week to talk to us about how he did it. It's amazing. Now, I believe there's an ethical way to use AI. In fact, we have a movie we're talking about on Friday that uses AI, a movie called Watch the Skies, but in a very unique way. I don't know if we talked about this, Jim. Watch the Skies is a Swedish film with Swedish actors in Swedish with subtitles. They took this movie, ran it through a plugin, and they use an Avid. It didn't take months. It took weeks. they redid the mouths of all the actors, and the original Swedish actors redubbed their own voices in English, and they speak perfect English in the movie. Alan, you have to see it.
Okay.
I did not know when I watched the movie. I'm like, well, these actors have Swedish accents, but why? I don't know why they shot it in English. It's a sci-fi thriller that's very good about a young girl whose father's obsessed with UFOs. He gets abducted. She's trying to find him. It's like an action movie, but I didn't know. And so the movie exists. It was a Swedish film. They redid it in English now, what does this open up to? Localizing movies, like your movie can now be in native languages all over the world, literally with a plugin from Avid. Now, do the original actors, do they record their voices? Those are AI done. I don't know how to do it so that the original actors' voices are preserved. I don't know, but also it brings up the question of older films, like even like Toho Godzilla movies. You can have them in English where their mouths actually match what they're saying. All I'm saying is it changes the game for global cinema. It's the company that did it is called Flawless, and I didn't know when I watched the movie that they did that. I just thought I couldn't tell. It was incredible. So that's one positive use of AI, right?
Yeah.
I think the point is people have to own the data sets they use to use the tool, if that makes sense. It can't be a remix of a bunch of faces where people didn't have permission. You can't copyright that.
Yeah. So, I was talking to somebody this morning, a producer I know, about the same thing of what you just said. The first person who can figure out how to shoot like an indie film and blend almost like what Monsters was like, 10, 15 years ago. Right. But with bigger effects and, space wars going on here, or aliens attacking and people are stuck in a house, and seamlessly put it together is going to be like a game changer.
Yeah. Alan, did you mention you're reviewing an AI movie on the website?
Yeah. I mean, it's a movie about, it's called 300 Crusaders. It's about the Ottoman Empire. It's a period piece. Actors were all shot normal on green screen, and then they used AI to rotoscope them and then to blend them. And all the backgrounds and everything were created by AI, and it was all blended together into a feature film.
Well, those people that fought the Ottoman Empire are going to want their residuals at some point. They're going to, any final thoughts, Jim, before we let you go? And we'll go to any comments and questions, Lori, if you would help with that.
I think I talked a lot already. But yeah, just sad that the situation in California is sad. I don't see it turning around anytime soon. But I think the film industry as a whole, though, is still healthy and viable.